All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLevin and Jonathan Mathis. How you doing today, Jay?
Man, I'm good. As you know, we had a lot of good baseball last night, and I'm going to toot your horn. Reds took out the Yankees, which made me happy to see that. And the Astros won last night. Dodgers, I think they won. So, we closed the gap a little bit on the Yankees, and we're 3.5 back of those guys. So, for baseball, man, it really put me in a good mood waking up this morning and hanging out with you guys.
How you doing today, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, it's good to be on today. Today here in Southern California, we got the Freeway Series, the Angels versus the Dodgers, and it's a perfect day for baseball.
Can I say go Angels? Because I need to put some separation between us and the Dodgers. And I know you're a Dodgers fan, but I gotta go with the Angels today because I need some separation. Ohtani!
I got you. Yeah, Ohtani, man, he's a special player. He's fun to watch, but I keep telling people the first chance he get, he's out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. The only downside I think with Ohtani playing that dual position, I think sometimes is it puts a lot of wear and tear on that body. So I just wonder how long he could go being a dual threat and stay, at a healthy level. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Being a two-way player and pitching some nights, and then other nights you're being a slugger. I know that's a lot to ask from a guy like Ohtani, but hey, he's been handling the spotlight quite well. He's been, playing his best baseball. And if you're a fan of baseball, how can you not love the guy? He's.
Oh no, I get it. I get it. But I wonder if you got a guy like an Ohtani, and I'm not saying you got to play him at the dual threat because I get that. But I guess as an owner, or if I was a fan of the Angels or whatever, if Ohtani gets hit by a pitch at the plate, I mean, I just think he really puts himself in a lot of dangerous situations. When you're playing the dual threat like that, you know what I'm saying? Because if you get hit by a pitch, not only are you losing your DH, but you could be losing your starting pitcher for a while. So, again, I like what he does, but, man, I tell you, he takes a chance every time he goes to the plate. You know what I'm saying?
And not only are you losing the starting pitcher, you're losing your best pitcher if that happens.
Yeah. And as we saw, Altuve got hit in the knee last night,
And not only is your best pitcher, he's also one of your best hitters.
Yeah. So you really lose a lot. If you lose him, it really hurts your team tremendously. Not only like it's on the hitting, but on the pitching. But I just feel like every time you go to the plate, if you know you're that good of a pitcher, which obviously he went 33 innings without allowing a run until the Astros stopped that one. But anyway, we lost the game, so it really didn't matter. But again, 33 innings of, I think his ERA was at .45 during that stretch. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. Nolan Ryan went 28 innings, and there was a couple other pitchers in there, and I think Lackey was in there as well. But Ohtani now holds the most no-run innings for the Angels.
What aggravates me going into the All-Star break is that the Cincinnati Reds since May have played 500 baseball. But in April, they were 2 for 23. So I put them so far back that realistically, it's going to be a miracle if they make the playoffs. But they're playing good baseball now. We've won 6 of our last 7. And in them games, we've swept the Rays. So and then won a series against the Yankees. So it's not like we were getting wins over the bottom of the league.
Right.
But watch, we're going to go into All-Star break, and all you're hearing about is how we're going to lose Luis Castillo. So it's like every year, it's like we're not trying to build to win. We just keep rebuilding and keep rebuilding, and it just don't make no sense.
Right. No, I totally agree with you on that. Absolutely. And that's a funny thing. And I think we're going to talk about it tomorrow night on Unscripted, but just to put it out there, look at the Orioles. The Orioles right now, I think, are, a 10-game win streak, and now they're, there's talk about there that they could possibly sell some pieces off to try to, regenerate in the playoffs. So, and take advantage of, their competitive plans. So I don't think you're the only one, in that situation, Gonzo, with the Reds. I think the Orioles are another classic example of that.
Yeah, they are definitely a classic example of that. I see them going out to get a starting pitcher, though, to add to that rotation of theirs.
Who, the Orioles?
Yeah, I can see them adding another start.
I think you have to.
Rotation. Yeah, you more or less so have to.
You have to go all in because this team is gelled about a year early, probably a year or two earlier than people expected.
Right.
But you got to go all in and show your fan base that you're trying to win.
Right. I wonder if that's the Baltimore, upper echelon mindset is, are they going to go all in the way? Because that typically hasn't been the Baltimore Orioles style.
No, they rely heavily on their farm system and up-and-coming stars in their farm system. I don't know. That's a good question. Let's see what they do.
Because Houston, if you look at Houston, we rely heavily on our farm system as well, but we do bring in, free agents when we need to.
Right.
And I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to have, to be a successful franchise, I think you have to have a strong farm system to develop from, but you also have to bring in a couple of free agents here and there as well and sprinkle it in. And I think that's really what the winning combination is having a healthy farm, but also sprinkling in the free agents. And I think that, and having good leadership, at the head coaching spot, the GM spot, a good bench coaching and good pitch coaching to help continue to develop these guys. I mean, that really is, I think if you had those pieces in place, that's really where the more successful organizations are.
That's true.
I think the Braves are probably a really good example of that, because if you look at the Braves organization right now, they got three. I think Eddie Perez and a couple others that are in. They're underneath the head coach that could actually be head coaching prospects for quite a number of teams.
Yeah, that's true.
And see, I'm hearing that the Orioles could offer the Reds a massive package for Luis Castillo.
I've heard that too. I've heard the Orioles, I know the Cardinals are interested, but there's no way the Reds are going to trade Castillo within the division. If they do, they're that GM's even stupider than I think he is. So I can see him maybe going to the Orioles. I hope we keep him. I don't understand how we're ever going to get any better if we keep trading away all of our pitching and all of our good.
One thing I want to point out to you guys is, and I know Pride and Frankie are really good at telling me that, how weak of a division that the Astros are in, and I'm not going to deny that to a certain degree, because if you look at the A's and you look at the Angels, they are fairly weaker teams or softer teams. But if I look at the Seattle Mariners that got off to a slow start, and now I see that there are a couple of games now above 500 and pretty much right underneath that wild card spot, if not at the wild card spot, or getting close to the wild card spot. I think they may be 1 or 2 games out. But when I look at them, they're on like an 11-game win streak, but nobody's talking about the Seattle Mariners and that 11-game damn win streak that they're on.
The Mariners are another team. If I'm that GM, I'm going out and trying to get another bat.
Yeah,
because the Mariners have had a good
pieces away.
The Mariners had a good pitching staff for the last 2 or 3 years, but their offense they couldn't score runs.
Right.
This year they're scoring runs better, but if I'm the GM, I'm going to try to add at least another bat here before the trade deadline.
You are.
Because they get another bat, they could be dangerous.
They could be very dangerous because they already have the foundational pieces in place. You have Julio Rodriguez. He's been on the offensive tear. You got Jesse Winker. I don't know what has changed this team, because this team got off to a slow start. I think maybe that brawl. Well, I mean, Chris and I was talking about it the other day. Maybe that motivated them. That fired them up, Yeah. And sometimes strange things have to happen for a team to finally get going.
I was thinking when he threw the sunflower seeds out in the field, I think that's what changed their whole season.
But honestly though, like I said, I think. I don't think. I think if you look at the underneath part, the Angels and the A's, and you consider it a soft division, but we're really, I really think that Frankie and Pride missed the mark on our division. I don't think we're as soft as what they think we are. When you look at the Mariners, what they're doing right now compared to what Toronto and Tampa Bay and Boston are doing, they may have a little deeper competitive division, but we're right there with them in our 1 and 2 teams.
Tampa Bay's another team that could, with their pitching, if their offense gets going, they can be scary as well.
They could be, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, we all know how great of an offense they have with the guys in that rotation. We just saw them in that lineup. We just saw them in the World Series, 2 years ago when they played the Dodgers. So this team is capable. That team is very capable. They have a good leader in that.
It's a perfect example of how frustrated Reds fans are. That's my dad. If the Reds let him go, I think I'm done. And my dad's been a Reds fan for forever. Just like I've been a Reds fan.
I can understand his frustration. If I was him, I can understand his frustration. Honestly. Well, I tell you though, it's going to be interesting. Like I was telling Frankie earlier,
we barely missed the playoffs last year, Jay. Huh? We barely missed the playoffs last year, and they blow the team up.
And I don't understand that. If you barely missed it, that means you're only maybe a piece away from actually making it, but then you just throw yourself.
We had a lot of injuries last year. We had a lot of injuries last year.
Marlins of the Midwest. They're the Miami Marlins of the Midwest.
Oh man!
To blow up the roster and get all the young
it's so frustrating.
And all their promising players. They
and
just
you see, look, I still wear my red stuff all the time, but oh man, it's frustrating.
That's got to be frustrating. I don't know how that feels because I'm a spoiled Dodger fan, So I don't know how it feels to blow up a team year after year. I only know how it feels to see a team continue to improve each year and the same players hanging around, and that allows the fans to gravitate to those players.
Right.
That's every year with the Dodgers.
So my question, Jonathan, is this. So you had a red-hot Yankees team come out the gate just on all damn cylinders.
Right.
And now it seems like within the past, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, we're seeing a serious cooling off on that team. Serious cooling off.
Right.
So yes, they still had a 3-game series or a 3-game lead, 3.5-game lead going into the All-Star, but yet they got to go through Boston. So we got to see what it looks like when they come out of Boston. But then you got an Astros team who is, came out slow, but now is heating up. And then you got a Mariners team that is just on an 11-game tear, and now they're looking formidable. And you do have a Boston team that so you got a lot of teams that are heating up. The Yankees are kind of cooling down. We're getting ready to go into the All-Star game over the weekend. How do you see it coming out on the other end? Who do you think comes out hot? Who do you think comes out cold? And who do you think just comes out exactly the way they went into it?
Hey, real quick. The Yankees are 1-4 over their last 5 games, and the Boston Red Sox are also 1-4 over their last 5 games.
That's even a better stat. That even makes it even more impressive going into this series.
Yeah. Well, I can see the Red Sox continuing to be hot. They got off to a slow start, so it's going to be interesting to see if the Yankees and the Red Sox will come down to this tight race in the AL East. I can see that happening, and I think that's something baseball fans will love because those are 2 of the greatest rivals in baseball. As for the Yankees, I expected this because, look, I don't care how good of a team you are. That's not sustainable, okay? It's very rare that a team sustains what they have accomplished early in the season. So seeing
every team usually has a slump.
Right. Every team has a slump. So seeing a team get off to a fast start and dominate the first half of the season is common, okay? But then sometimes when the second half of the season approaches, that's when you kind of lose some steam a bit, and that's normal, I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet for the Yankees. I think the Yankees are in a great position still. But they're gonna have to, reinsert themselves, get back to playing top level baseball, and they can do that. But the key to do that is keeping everybody healthy. Aaron Judge is gonna have to stay healthy. Stanton is going to have to stay healthy. Those are big bats in your lineup, and you need those guys to stay healthy. If one of those guys go down, that changes the whole narrative of their season. Right. So, I mean, the Yankees are right where they want to be, and they're just experiencing a little slump right now. They're 1-4 in their last, 5 games, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to happen. That's baseball for you. And baseball is not all the time. Not all the time it goes your way. Baseball is a funny game.
Honestly,
1 minute you're playing so good, you're playing at your highest level, and then the next second you're at the lowest point. So I mean that's not really a surprise there. But Jay, I think the Yankees will, figure things out. I think the Yankees will continue on with this run, but I think the Red Sox will be knocking at the door as well.
Yeah, and the thing too for the Yankees is they just had Severino go down on that 15-day IL with that lat strain. So I am kind of curious to see, how they're pitching and the health of their pitching going forward. Is going to maintain, coming out that on the back half. I think the All-Star break and those few days, will help Severino. But again, I think the biggest thing for the Yankees, as we've seen before, is their health. Number one. But number two, and I'm not trying to knock on Judge, and I'm not trying to knock on Stanton, but the Yankees are still kind of the Yankees because those two particular hitters still continue to hit the ball the same way they did the past 4 to 5 years. In other words, they chase a lot. Their play discipline. Honestly, the only knock I got on Stanton and the only knock I got on Judge, and I told Frankie this before, is their play discipline. And because their play discipline is as such, that's why they don't get better. If they could learn to get better at the play discipline and figure out what pitches to go after and what pitches to lay off, their strikeout ratio is going to go down, and they're going to be a better team. I think that's just I think that's the weakness that the Astros understand with the Yankees, because they played the Yankees quite a bit, and then the Astros pitching knows that Stanton and Judge are going to chase after certain things. Now, where it gets tricky for the Astros is they have to maintain good command of their pitches and not let the pitches that they want Stanton and them to chase after right up in the zone, because that's where Judge and Stanton have capitalized on the Astros is when they've lost the command of those pitches. But I'm telling you, these guys, they are suckers to chase, and I think that's what the Astros know about them, and that's why I think I do believe, and this is my opinion, that it's going to be the Astros and the Yankees ALCS, and I still think that we have a competitive advantage over them because we know that team. Not that the Yankees don't know us, but we know them, and we are very familiar with their ace Garrett Cole since he came out of Houston.
Hey Jay, I understand what you're saying. But also, plate discipline as a whole in Major League Baseball has gotten worse because all they're worried about now is launch angles. It's either strikeout or home run. So
strikeouts or home runs.
Teams don't care about strikeouts no more. So as a whole, plate discipline has got worse in Major League Baseball.
But I will say this to the Angels' credit, and Jonathan Mathis, I don't know if you watched the Ohtani game versus the Astros. But the one thing that I was really impressed with the Angels, more so even than Ohtani, was the fact that they were able to bunt the ball and get on base, not only get on base, but score off the bunt. And that's a lost art form, especially I think to Gonzo's point, that we aren't seeing as much in baseball anymore, is the short game or the bunt to get on base or the bunt to advance the runners.
Or trying to draw walks. Yeah. You don't see batters trying to draw walks like you used to.
No. And a lot of these hitters nowadays, they're not patient anymore. They chase everything out of the zone. They're trying to swing for the fences more than anything. So you see a lot of these batters now, and they're overly aggressive at the plate, trying to do a bit too much. I miss the old style of baseball when it was just about putting the ball in play and getting on base and moving.
That's why I love watching college baseball. That's why I love watching the NCAA College World Series tournament because, man, college baseball is like watching old school Major League Baseball. You see you still see bunting, you still see the small game, stolen bases, you still see the strategy.
Yeah, teams are playing small ball in college, right?
And I do want to kind of address the comment that Frankie put up. I have been watching Judge, Frankie. I watched him in the Astros series where we struck him out numerous times, and I watched him chase balls numerous times. And I have watched Judge when he lit up the Astros when the command wasn't there and the ball did right. That's what I was trying to mention. I've been watching Judge. I watched Judge even in the Reds series. I mean, I'm telling you, he has gotten better. I'm not saying he hasn't gotten better, but he still does chase, Frankie. You know he chases.
Oh, yeah, he does chase. And, I think for the Yankees, I think another thing that would help them stay at the top is getting another pitcher. I think they would consider acquiring another pitcher. And the Yankees, for the last couple seasons now, they've been in love with, yes, Chris, I must say his name again, Luis Castillo. They have been trying to acquire him for the last couple of seasons now, and I think the Yankees are, strongly interested in acquiring him. I think
for people that don't know who Castillo is one of the best pitchers in baseball right now.
He clearly is. He just plays for a Reds team that's not very interesting, that a lot of people don't know much about because they're not nationally televised quite a bit, and they're a team that's at rock bottom right now. But I mean, the Yankees to me are in the best position to land the all-star right-hander, and I can see them doing everything they possibly can to add him to the rotation.
Yeah, you're right, Frankie. He pitched great last night against the Yankees. Castillo did. I think gave up 2 hits on the night or something like that.
So he's been high on their radar for quite some time, and I think.
Well, I was getting ready to say, my luck, that's where he's going to end up at.
Right, and if the price tag is right, I think the Yankees will make this deal.
I want him in Cincinnati, but
I know you do, but
I can very easily see him turn into a Yankee sometime this season.
The thing is, the price might be a little high. The price tag might be a little high. The Reds might want a lot in return for him.
And I think there's going to be multiple teams interested in him because I know the Cardinals are interested, which, like I said, I don't think he'll go to the Cardinals.
I'm hearing the Dodgers are interested in him because, the Dodgers have some ailing pitchers in their rotation right now. We don't have Walker Buehler right now. Dustin May's timetable is still unknown when he'll return to the starting rotation. So the Dodgers can certainly use another arm, and we've seen year after year that they are not afraid to make moves. They're not afraid to give up their young assets and mortgage their future to try to win now. So the Dodgers will very well be in play for a guy like Luis Castillo. I think a number of teams are going to be in play for this guy because, like you said, he's a good player. The Orioles are another team that's presumed buyers at the trade deadline, and actually possibly find a way to land Castillo. So it's going to be interesting to see where Castillo ends up. But I think by the time it's all said and done, he won't be with the Cincinnati Reds. And I hate to break your heart, Chris, but you know how the Reds are. You know how they operate. You know that they do things like this.
Oh, I know.
And the Yankees sometimes at the trade deadline, particularly teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers, big market teams, are at the top of the list to buy, top name stars that's on the trade market.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it sucks because a lot of talk's been about Tyler Mahle as well from the Reds. Who's also another real solid pitcher.
Right.
My dad said Joe Morgan got on first base and stole second base almost 80% of the time. Yeah.
I remember when Joe Morgan played for the Astros.
That just shows you how much the game has changed. Now, if you see a stolen base, it's kind of a surprise. John was on another level with the Dodgers Wednesday night, laughing out loud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was mad. And then you know what? I wasted all that negative energy, right? And they came back and they won the damn game. 7-6 was the final score.
Well, and you know what's even crazier? We all get upset and get mad. But you know what? What does the first half of the season really mean? It really don't mean nothing until after the All-Star break, if you think about it.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen a team go? How many times have we seen a team go from worst to first from the All-Star break to the playoffs?
And mid-season collapses and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So really, that's why I keep saying. That's why I say baseball plays too many games. You can cut it down to like 120. You don't need to play the 162 games.
Yeah. You know who else the Dodgers have looked at? Whit Merrifield from Kansas City. They've looked at him too as well. The other day, his 553 consecutive game streak came to an end. He suffered a big toe injury. And so he had this streak going where he was like the Iron Man, able to stay healthy and not miss a game until that big toe injury. But the Dodgers are interested in possibly acquiring him as well. Okay. And I think he's a quality infielder.
Hey, Jay, do you think the Astros will make any moves here before the trade deadline to try to improve anything?
Yeah, I've been kind of wanting that too.
Frankie says the Yankees are looking at Javier.
Hey, they should be looking at Javier. He's pretty damn good, I'll be honest with you. He's really freaking good. He did get the loss against Ohtani, but if you look at it, he's still got 10 strikeouts. So, again, yeah, you may want to look at Javier, but you're not going to get him. You'll be stuck with the rotation you got, which, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay, but, whatever. But no, I'm being serious, getting back to it. The Astros, I think if they pitching were good, hitting, I think we're fine. The only thing I would say roughly is probably the catcher. Maldonado is a great catcher. He's probably one of the best catchers at calling the pitches, but he struggles at the plate. That's where Maldonado struggles. Now, he did get a couple of good hits off Ohtani, but still, he struggles at the plate. So they did bring up Lee from the minors, and he actually I think he's batting 300, so Lee could be, because I think Castro's kind of down right now, so I don't think Castro's being used. So we do have Lee there, but I still think I'm looking at probably bringing in another catcher just to kind of beef up the batting average at the catching position. So I think if they were going to trade for anybody, I would trade or look to bring in another catcher, maybe like a Gomes from the Cubs. I think he would be a good addition there. Somebody like that, I would be okay with. But hitting all the other positions, I'm fine with. It's just the catching position. I think I would like to upgrade a little bit more on.
Jonathan, you think that other than pitching, you think the Dodgers might make any other moves, or you think that if they do, it's going to be pitching?
No, I think if they do, it should be pitching. I think they have the great hitters in that lineup. They just need to string together some hits. That's all. And we've seen what those guys are capable of doing. You got Gavin Lux, he's coming on. Freddie Freeman has remained hot. At the top of the lineup, you got Trey Turner, you got Mookie Betts. So you got guys in that lineup that can hit. And this lineup, if you guys remember correctly, this was the lineup everyone was talking about that can historically be the greatest in baseball history. That's what everybody was talking about at the start of the season. So I don't really think they need to add another bat about Whit Merrifield from the Kansas City Royals. I don't think you make that move. I don't think you add another bat to the lineup. I think you focus more on pitching. I think that should be your top priority because, again, you don't know when Dustin May is going to return. You still don't have Walker Buehler in that rotation. And I understand that the Dodgers have been able to pretty much, stay afloat with the arms that they have in their starting rotation, thanks to the year that Tony Gosselin is having, and thanks to what Tyler Anderson is doing. He had another terrific night last night, pitched 6 scoreless innings. Pitching has been okay for the Dodgers, and those two guys particularly that I just mentioned, they've been able to stabilize that starting rotation. But I still think you can never go wrong with adding another arm to your starting rotation because we all know once October comes, pitching is very crucial, and you need to have one of the best rotations in baseball, to make a run and win 11 games in October. It takes you need to win 11 games in October. And in order to do that, you need quality pitching from top to bottom. You need an incredible bullpen and you need a starting rotation. So I think it's very, very important that the Dodgers, seek quality arms in both the starting rotation and maybe another starter, and then a couple more relievers to help strengthen that bullpen.
And see, for me, if I'm the Reds, I don't trade Castillo. What I do, I should see if I can make a deal, try to add a couple relievers. Because if you look at the Reds, yeah, they got off that terrible start. But since then, our starting pitching has been pretty good. And over the last 2 weeks, we're in the top 5 in team ERA over the last 2 weeks. So even the last couple of weeks, our bullpen's been a little better. But if I'm the Reds, I try to add a couple relievers, maybe another mid reliever and then a closer, and see what this team does the rest of the season. Because you have a young Brandon Drury that should have been an all-star that's having a breakout season. Jonathan India is starting to hit the ball like he was last year as a rookie. Farmer's playing good. We're finally starting to be healthy with Senzel on the field, everybody on the field. See if the team can pick up a couple relievers, see if the team can finish strong and build some momentum. Even if you don't make the playoffs, at least you're building some momentum going into the next season. Is what I would like to see the Reds do. I think they'll do the opposite because that's how their GM is. But, I mean, the teams, they battle, dude. The team's fun to watch play. I mean, they just played the Yankees and 2 of the games went in extra innings. And we won 2
that was some good baseball, man. Both you and Frankie, y'all were both biting your nails all the way to the end, throwing stuff at the TV. It was beautiful.
In the series before that, they swept the Rays. So they're showing what kind of team they got the capability of being. I would try to add some pieces to it instead of tearing it apart.
And build around that core, they should be. And I think that's what the Reds have to figure out is who's your core and then who do we build around and then let's go from there. But I almost kind of wonder if it's the same thing with the Reds as it is the Orioles, that you just have you both have a lack of direction, or you lack a direction. You know what I'm saying? A sense of direction where you want your franchises to go.
Oh, no, we do. Let's talk a little bit NBA real quick before we move on, before we talk some NFL today. But in the NBA, you were talking earlier about teams making a big going all in on something that usually don't.
Yeah.
The Pacers went all in to try to get DeAndre Ayton. And that's a move you don't see the Pacers usually make. They don't usually go after big free agents like that, even though he was a restricted free agent. But now that the Suns have matched the Pacers, the Suns have matched the Pacers offer. Now DeAndre Ayton cannot be traded till after January 15th. For one, what's your thoughts on the Suns deciding to keep him? Do you think DeAndre Ayton is going to be? I mean, they kind of disrespected Ayton because they didn't want to give him the max, and then they kind of got forced to, or they were going to lose him for nothing. Or they were going to lose him for nothing. And then the second part of it is, how does this affect Kevin Durant trying to get to Phoenix? Because this limits what Phoenix can offer now because they can't do nothing with DeAndre Ayton right now. So let's start with Jonathan on this. And what do you think, Jonathan, about the Suns matching the offer? And if you think Ayton's going to be like kind of hold a grudge against the team because they kind of disrespected them, and how do you think this will affect the Kevin Durant trying to get to Phoenix? I think this makes it a lot more difficult for Durant to get to the Suns.
The Suns had never made a max offer suggesting they didn't value DeAndre Ayton. I think they like DeAndre Ayton a lot. I think they know how he plays a pivotal role to that team, particularly in the front court. They just wasn't ready to give him a max contract. But they did match the offer. What that tells you is that they find this guy to be a valuable piece to their roster, and they wanted to keep him on the team. Because he really is a quality big man. I mean, he's not a flashy name.
He's kind of forced into it, though, because if they didn't match it, they were going to lose him for nothing.
Right.
That's what I was saying. I don't think it's so much of them wanting to, or they believe that he's just this great player. And they've actually come out and said it. They matched that offer because they would rather match it and then trade him and get something for it rather than just have him walk out the door and they're just left empty-handed. So I don't think it's still them valuing him. I think it's just them not wanting to walk, or him wanting to walk away, and they get left empty-handed.
And also, Jonathan, do you think DeAndre Ayton plays this season before January 15th, or he holds out waiting on trying to get traded?
That's a good question. Do I think he played? There's a possibility that he can play this season. But I'm with Jay. I think they try to move him before the upcoming season. If you can, you try to get something for him. While
you can't do nothing until January 15th.
So. Right. So, I mean,
season already be started a little bit.
Right. I think he plays. I think he plays until January. I don't think he's going to sit out, because that would hurt his stock. That would hurt his value, if he sat out. So I think you play. I think you just, hang out until the time comes. And then once that time comes, then the Suns can move him if they choose to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you kind of answered the first part of that question, but the thing for me is if I got to be honest with you, I know it sucks to kind of see Ayton leave and you get nothing for it, but at the same time, okay, so you're looking at it this way. If I give Ayton the contract,
right,
I'm probably not going to be able to give Durant the contract because here's the deal. Right now, the Suns got 9 players going into 2022-2023 season. 9 players under contract, and right now they're at $128.8 million. Remember, the cap is at $122 million. So you just gave Ayton this big contract. So, okay, you're going to cut some of the players that you got under contract or trade them or do whatever to get under that to try to bring in a Durant. But honestly, I got to be honest with you, I don't think the Suns make a move. I think Durant's days at Phoenix now are done because, like you said, you're stuck with Ayton for a year. I think, before you can even think about trading. So that pretty much rules out, at least for this year, Durant. And Durant's probably going to sign a multi-year. So you're pretty much just going to miss out on Durant, I believe, all the way around, which I think you should. I think you'd be killing yourself. I get Durant's value, but at this point in the game, I think you're killing your team to try to bring him in. For what you don't know if you're going to get a championship or not. So at that point, I think if I was the Suns, if I was going to try to bring in a Durant, I'm going to let Ayton walk. If I really wanted Durant, I'm going to let Ayton walk. I'm going to lose out on getting compensation for him, but at the same time, I'm allowing myself now to make a move on Durant and bring Durant in, and then we have this competitive team, and we can move forward. I think you're fine. So I think bringing in Ayton, they have to say to themselves, okay, we either A, think we can believe it, or B, they're just complete idiots, and they're just so self-centered that they don't want to lose out on compensation for him that they're willing to bypass on Durant. So I mean, it's all over the place, honestly, for the Phoenix Suns. It's all over the place. But at this point, the milk has already been spilled. They've already matched the contract. They've already got Ayton for a year, so that's done and over with. So now at this point, when we look at the second half of that question of, what does that mean for Durant's market? Well, the market for Phoenix Suns, in my opinion, if they're smart, is dried up and just over with, and they're going to move on from that. And then Durant's going to have to look at what other scenarios, or Brooklyn's got to look at what other scenarios out there that they could bring in Durant. Maybe Golden State, if Golden State's willing to part ways with a good chunk of their core, or their youth, I should say, along with picks, which I don't know that they are, because they just won a championship. I don't know why they would. So, in my opinion, the market for Durant to move on, to me, unless you just got some multi-teams out there that are willing to go in on it, is drying up slowly for Durant.
To me,
I think Durant stays where he is now.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to be on the Nets. I think him and Kyrie both are going to be on the Nets to start the season. But
I don't think Kyrie can even find a spot. I know he was trying to get to the Lakers, and I think LeBron was trying to do whatever to get him over there.
But then that mean LeBron is out there. Bye.
Yeah, but on DeAndre Ayton, I think the Suns messed up because he's a good player. I don't understand why the Suns was afraid to give him the max.
And that's what I'm saying too, because I
was happy as hell that the Pacers was bringing him in, going to team him up with Halliburton and the young players we have. I'm like, okay.
Well, they said he was excited about the possibility of teaming up with that tremendous backcourt of theirs.
Yeah, so I was happy about it. So I don't understand why Phoenix has been down on Ayton like that.
Yeah. And they said he was excited about being the centerpiece to that Indiana team. That's what they said, that Ayton was excited about.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Pacers do now.
Right.
Because
truthfully, I would not be surprised.
The Pacers lose those 3 players. They lost 3 players over it.
Yeah. I think Ayton possibly next year gets traded to the Pacers. I don't think that's completely dead. I just think it's on the back burner now for at least a year.
Yeah, until January 15th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it is January.
And what the season starts?
I think they put it on the back burner and then they revisit it, and then of course they're gonna have to give up some picks or whatever.
But he's gonna play. He's gonna play with the Suns because
regular season starts what? December.
That hurts your trade value. You know that hurts the stock. So
regular season starts what? December. Cause I know there's usually games on Christmas.
Regular season for NBA.
Yeah.
I think it starts up around, is it October, September, October?
It's usually October.
October,
right.
Okay, so October.
Yeah.
And it kind of coincides with football.
Okay, so yeah,
yes. and baseball a little bit too.
Right.
Yes, Yep. So he'll be on the at least be on the Suns for 3 months of the season.
Yeah, but he won't be there long. I think the Suns will move him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think it's completely dead for the Pacers.
I don't understand why either.
I don't understand why, because I feel like
because I agree with
he's
this.
not a flashy name, but he's a quality center. Like he's a good big.
Because this is something I actually agree with Damian on. If Ayton leaves Booker, I think Booker's going to be in trouble. I think they're not going to realize how important it was having Ayton there for that pick and roll and the defense having to worry about Ayton's size.
Because they don't want to give him the max? Is that why they are interested in moving him suddenly, maybe? I don't know.
But I don't know, you bring even if he let go of Ayton and brought in a Durant, I think Durant could still do the pick and roll. I don't think that would be an issue. I think that would just be a side move.
Yeah. And Damian, to answer your question, the reason is because if you're a restricted free agent, whatever team you're on gets a chance to match whatever offer you get. So since he was in his contract that he was a restricted free agent this year, I think next year he'd have been unrestricted free agent. But since he was restricted, the Suns get a chance to match whatever offer he got. So even though he signed that offer sheet with the Pacers, since the Suns matched it, now the Suns still have his rights per se.
Right. That's right.
I would rather have DeAndre Ayton over Kevin Durant, because like I said before, Kevin Durant, you don't know if he's going to show up or not, or if he's going to be committed to your team. You know, if something goes wrong, all of a sudden he's going to want out. No, I don't have time for all that drama. So
I will say this. Hey, I think had Durant had the Suns been able to acquire a Durant, and then you got Chris Paul, he's got at least 1 or 2 more years left with Phoenix. I think the leadership of Paul, Durant knows, okay, Durant don't want to be a leader anyway. He just wants to fit into the system and ride the wave and let's go.
Oh, no, yep, you're right. That's been a good fit for him.
Because Paul would have been the natural leader anyway of that team.
It would be a good fit for Durant because of that. Because you have a leader.
He wants to go
because
there.
you have a leader on the team.
No, I think Chris Paul is the leader of that team, and I think Durant is fine with that, and I think he falls in line.
That's because Durant doesn't have leadership qualities.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it would be a good fit for him, because there's already a leader on that team.
And that's probably why he wants
That's
to
the
go
whole
there.
problem in Brooklyn. There's no leader on the team.
That's probably why he wants to go to Phoenix. That's probably why he has them on his list.
Man, I'm telling you, you pair up Booker, Durant, and CP3, and as long as
I'm the
CP3 and Durant stay healthy,
If I'm the
man,
Nets,
hey, and then you got Cam Jordan and all those guys coming off the. I mean, that would have been a really nice squad. Honestly.
if I'm the Nets, I'm doing like San Antonio did Kawhi Leonard. I'm sending your ass to Canada.
Hey, could you imagine though? What if the Phoenix Suns could have held on to a McGee? Hey, what if they could have held on to a McGee? Put McGee at the center, Durant at the forward, and then you got some guards over there and CP3 and Booker. I mean, bro, that good God, man, that could have been a really
shipping him all the way out of the country, huh?
Hey, that's what they did with Kawhi.
Yep.
Kawhi
He had to ride that.
Kawhi gets lucky.
1 year too.
and then Kawhi gets lucky at every break and
Hey,
then the playoffs happens and he wins a championship there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, every break. He hits a shot that hits the front of the rim. He hits a shot that hits the front of the rim and somehow
he should
all around to win in.
I think Kawhi should have stayed there with Lowry and Ibaka.
I do
just
too.
try to ride out as many championships as you could get with that squad.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, he should have stayed.
When he left Toronto is when everything just went crazy with him.
Yeah, he was a great.
No, I agree. I think he should have stayed in Toronto too and tried to win another one because they had a solid team.
They did. I thought they had a really good team.
Even though a lot of things happened for him to win that championship that year, they still were a good team.
It was a place where he was able to rejuvenate himself. You know, it was a place where he was able to find his identity again. You know,
right.
It was an escape away from the United States, really. You know, a metropolitan city, a change of scenery. You know, a place where he seemed to fit in very well. And it would have been nice to possibly see him stay because maybe that team could have ran it back the following year.
But don't forget, they wouldn't have won that championship that year if the Warriors would have stayed healthy. If you wouldn't have had Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant go down, I don't think they win that championship that year. I think the Warriors beat the Raptors.
Well,
possible, yeah. Yeah, because you did have
with injuries, man. When you get them injuries, you know, everything else goes to the left.
Yeah, and you take advantage of that, you know. I mean, you don't wish injury on a player, but you
got to take advantage of it. You're right. You got to take advantage.
You take advantage of that. Yeah, and you do whatever it takes to win the game. And you got to remember too, injuries are part of the game. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what they said about the Suns getting to the finals. That's what they said about Giannis winning it a year ago. They said that the only reason the Milwaukee Bucks won that championship is because they had to go through ailing teams that didn't have all their pieces.
Right.
But I agree with you. It don't matter. It's still that championship's a championship.
It is. Take it however it comes. I know I would.
You gotta take advantage of what. If injuries suck, but they happen, you gotta take advantage of it.
And you have no control over who is in the lineup and who's not, and who goes down and who doesn't. You know,
just think how much injuries have changed sports. Because I mean, just think if Bo Jackson never would have had a career-ending injury, or
King players dealing with his knee injuries.
You know what I mean? It just injuries have changed the whole landscape of sports so much. But that shows you how hard it is because it can all be gone in a split second.
Well, yeah, I mean, the body goes through a lot. I mean, there's a few athletes out there that really take, just extreme care of their bodies where they're able to play, for long periods. I think probably Tom Brady is the best example of that. But a lot of players don't invest as much into their bodies to be able to play the sports in which they're playing. And I think that's why we see all the injuries. It's because they're putting money in houses and cars and lifestyles and everything else, but they're not putting money back into their craft to keep their body where it needs to be and things like that, to play at the level which they need to play at, to succeed. And I think that's a lot of it is where it's at. There are the athletes out there like LeBron and like I said, Tom Brady and things like that put the money in their body, and that's why they're able to do what they do. But I think a lot of times these athletes just aren't putting the money back into their personal selves to keep their bodies where it needs to be.
No, they're buying Gucci sweaters. They're buying $10 million chains and rocking the fresh kicks and all that stuff with the ripped jeans. And,
you got to have that drip.
Yeah, you gotta have that drip nowadays. And that you gotta have that. You gotta have that nice Porsche and that fancy Ferrari.
Man, they say money changes, but I've always been scared to spend money. And I think if I would have been good at playing the NBA or MLB or NFL, I swear I'm that type of son of a bitch that all the money you give me, man, I throw it all in the bank. I'll go buy me a monitor. I'm living close, because I know money comes and money goes, man.
I'm always scared.
You seem very disciplined, Jay, in your finances, and that's a good thing.
I'm scared to spend money. I'm scared to spend money because I know once I spend it on something like that, then then something's going to happen. And I could have used the money for something at the house or something.
But you know what?
It always happens like that.
A wise man once told me, every time you step out of the door, you're spending money.
Right. But you know what? Well, I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes. There's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down to. But I just feel like in today's society, you know, we're not teaching our young kids how to manage their money, what the value of the money means, and things like that. So when a young player who comes from nothing and then all of a sudden is now a millionaire, well, that's like open up the gateways of all kinds of craziness because he don't know. All he knows is, oh my God, I got all this money, I can do whatever the freak I want, and then all of a sudden that money disappears, and then he's still back to where, you know, back to square. I think that, you know, at the young age, we have to teach our kids, hey, it's okay to spend, but have a plan. Like, okay, this is going to be my spending money, it's going to be my savings, it's going to be my investments, it's going to be my, like, you got to know how to develop that pie to where your money will still take care of you. But I'm not saying you can't enjoy it, but I think, you know, a lot of times we don't educate the young athletes on how to manage their money and how that money can come and go if you're not careful.
And Jay, I agree with you, but it's not just athletes. And I'm sure Jonathan will agree with this because I know he's in education. It's our whole education system.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to be teaching we need to be teaching all our kids that, but we concentrate on teaching them other things that they don't use as much in everyday life. We need to incorporate more of the stuff that they need to know as a young adult into our education.
And I can tell you as an educator, so many of our students, they get so bored because they feel like it's the same material over and over and over again, and it becomes so repetitive for them. But we got to go by what the education system tells us to do, you know? So
I know. Hey, my wife's a first grade teacher, and she's all about that, man. It's like, you know, they have structured ways of doing things, and I'm not trying to say that Georgia's way of doing things in the educational system is bad, but I definitely think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Right, and there is, and we should be teaching these kids as well how to balance a checking account, how to put money away, how to spend money, when to spend money, you know, how to budget our checking accounts and that stuff, and that's what we don't teach them. But we teach them all this algebra, y to the third power, whatever that stuff is, because I don't know math. I know English. I'm an English guy. Okay.
I don't know math either.
But when it comes to math, I don't know all that stuff. But they're teaching them that stuff, and not.
I almost feel like there should be a home economics class at some point in the high school years. There should be a home economics class that teaches you, you know, how to manage your money and what to do with your money. Because you're right, they teach all of these, you know, high-level maths and Englishes and histories and whatever, but we're not educating them on how to spend their money or what to do with their money. So, you know, again, to me, that's a big part of education.
Yeah, we don't set them up. We don't set them up for success.
Right. We don't. And that's an area where we all can get better in. And even food. The food is not the great nutrition either.
Yeah.
A lot of it's processed food. A lot of that processed food, I can tell you, is worse than McDonald's, to be honest with you.
They say that processed foods is one of the leading forms of cancer causing. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's
it is. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that leads to cancer is processed food. So, and again, those are things that, you know, people should learn like maybe you take a nutrition class, like a health class should be nutrition should be part of it. Of course, you're going to have your sex education. Right. You know, there should be a whole lot of things under that health umbrella that teaches you as well. I mean, there's a lot of things we could teach in school that we're not really teaching that could benefit.
I think the education system needs to become more practical and teach some more practical stuff to the kids that they're going to see more in everyday life. And it's good to have that other stuff up to a point, but that other stuff don't do them no good if they don't know how to manage it and how to survive as an adult. Because just because they're an engineer, if they don't know how to manage their money, they're still going to be broke at some point because
they're
not set up for success on how to manage that money and how to be able to live a life where you're financially strong and can do things you want to do. And look at how many athletes, when they're done playing the sport, look at how many of them out there that are broke. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I think that's where we fail as a society with our education system.
And then it begins to affect their mental health as well. after going broke sometimes too. So I mean, yeah, it's all bad. I had a student actually tell me that he was so bored of school, he just gave up and stopped doing the work. And I would do everything in my power as an educator to motivate him to keep going. No, keep doing the work. He's like, no, I'm not going to do this, Mr. Mathis, because they're going to pass us anyway. The school system is set up to pass the students. This was coming from an elementary student.
Wow, that's insane.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I will tell you, man, I think they've come a long way. The school system, especially in Georgia, has to get people to pass. But in some of the ways, I can see what he's saying. I mean, I can. I mean, because the students nowadays, okay, take for example, when I was going through school, if I made an F on a test, okay, it's an F on a test. There's no retake. You just keep going to the next test.
Right.
Nowadays, you can take a test. You can fail the test. You can go to your teacher. You can arrange a time to retake that test and pass it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can.
So I see the point where he's coming from.
Right.
Where he's saying whether it's designed to do this or design. I mean, a lot of states, I know Georgia specifically, they design them on these in-course curriculums, right? Where you pass this test, you're good. You don't pass it, well, then you're repeating. So again, I think a lot of times we're teaching to the test and not teaching to the student.
Right.
And it's not the fault of the teacher so much, Jonathan. It's a lot of it is just the way the school system is set up. I mean, it's just the way they set it up.
Right. Then you got a lot of teachers too they don't really care about the students. They're just in it for the check and they're collecting. And I'm not one of those educators. I fight.
You know what, though?
Deserves a fighting chance.
In some of them teachers' defense, some teachers are like that because teachers are way underpaid as well.
Oh man,
yes. We're in a profession where we are underpaid, and we are
stupidly underpaid. It's not even underpaid. It's
hey guys,
mostly underpaid.
This is a great conversation, but let's talk some NFL football.
Somehow we took almost like a life lessons class instead of we went. I blame Jonathan on that. So
hey, don't get me wrong. Hey, it was a good conversation.
It is.
I was enjoying it, but
sometimes it's okay to mix it up in a sports show as well.
Hey, especially this time of year because there's not a whole lot going on in the sports world this time of year, really.
No, but you're right, Chris. We gotta stay on topic here.
Well, let's talk some divisions and who we think are going to win divisions.
Yes,
we'll start. Since Jay's on the show, we'll start out with the NFC East.
Woo! Now I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you like I said the other night on Matthew Briggs' the show that he runs. I forget the name of his show, but his sports show. It said with the Houston Texans. He had me on there. I was a Cowboys fan and he had a Texans fan. We were talking about the upcoming Texans and Cowboys game for the season, and we got into the topic of the NFC East as well. So yeah, I already kind of had this conversation. I'll have it again. It's painful. It's painful in the way that the Cowboys have kind of. They didn't upgrade. They didn't stay the same. They actually downgraded in a couple of key areas. Obviously, Amari Cooper leaving and, Gregory leaving to Denver. So, and of course, a couple other people resigned. So we obviously lost quite a bit there. I think we had a couple of offensive tackles leave. Collins went to Cleveland, and I think Williams went over down there to Miami. So we lost some of the guys off the offensive line. And we put Steele in there, and I think Baez, or whatever his name is, we put him in there. So the offensive line is kind of unproven right now. We don't know Tyron Smith, how his health is going to look. So the Cowboys got a lot of issues to contend with. The one bright spot, quote unquote, is that Dak Prescott says that he didn't have to deal with rehabbing this year, that he was able to focus on his strength and conditioning and his arm throwing and things of that nature, and he says he's going to be so much better than he was last year. And of course, we still got old-ass Mike McCarthy calling the plays. So you can kind of see a carbon copy of last year, I think, coming into this year, but only a little bit worse because we've lost people. So, yeah, I expect the Cowboys to finish in the wild card. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I think we're a wild card team at best. And I see the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts could pick up where he left off last year, getting that team to the wild card with the additions of Brown and Nick Chubb on defense to the draft and a couple of the spots that they improved on. It looks like this is the prime Eagles year to capture the division. And I can, depending on how well they play and how well they stay healthy, I can see them possibly getting a little bit deep in the playoffs, the second round of the playoffs. So I think if you look at the Giants, he brought in Dable, and he's going to, I think, develop. I think he'll develop Daniels quite well, and we'll see what Daniels really has to offer through his leadership and development. And Saquon Barkley, he's kind of whatever. We'll see if he can stay healthy. He's kind of like a glass imaginary. You drop him and he breaks. So we'll see what that really is. The big thing for those guys. But then you look over at Washington. They brought in Wentz. They got McLaurin back under contract. Chase Young, we don't know how he's going to come off that injury, but if he can do well and get back to that form that he left at, well, now you got a pretty formidable defense. So Washington could make some noise. But ultimately, at the end of the day, to say all that, I got the wild card being the Cowboys still, and I think that Eagles win the division.
All right. Before Jonathan, before you talk about your NFC pick, let's take a short little commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
All sports, all plays.
Uh-huh.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
All right, welcome to back to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin and Jonathan Mathis. We're talking our NFC East predictions. Jay's going with the Eagles. Jonathan, what do you think is going to happen here in the NFC East?
Yeah, you know what, guys? The Cowboys are slight, favorites to repeat this coming season. I don't know about that. I know they're a trendy pick for a lot of people, but I'm with Jay. I like the Eagles too as well. Look, the Eagles, put together a strong 2021 season of their own. They got off to a slow start, but they picked it up late in the season. And I actually had that Eagles team upsetting Tampa Bay. Yes, I know that was crazy, but I had them upsetting Tampa Bay in that playoff game. Jalen Hurts has gotten better thanks to the new head coach that they hired to come over there. They had some newcomers. They had wide receiver Devontae Smith, who helped propel Hurts to a much better season. So I like the Eagles. The Eagles didn't finish with a bad record. They finished 9-8 in the season, in which very few people thought they'd be competitive. And then they suddenly, made the NFC East look much more competitive. I like them. To me, the Cowboys are just too undisciplined. And I don't think that's going to change much under Mike McCarthy. They're a very undisciplined team. Yes, they had a cornerback who had the most takeaways last season. I know how good Diggs was in their secondary. I know how great their defense can be. I know how great Micah Parsons was at getting to the quarterback and all of that good stuff. But the Dallas Cowboys is as simple as this. They don't make smart decisions with the football. They had too many careless turnovers, and I don't see that really changing. Now Washington will be more of a fun team to watch. Now that they're not called, now that they changed their nickname and they're the Commanders now, they got Wentz. Yes, I know he's a wild card for Washington. But on the surface, it appears to be a QB upgrade for Washington. So Washington is going to be fun to watch. They're going to be a different team as well. Then you got the New York Giants, who has a new coach. It's a new era for them. The thing is with them is keeping Saquon Barkley healthy. But I think at the end of the day, it's the Eagles' division to win.
Okay. I think it's going to be a real interesting division this year because all these teams are kind of intriguing. With the Eagles, they've built what we think is going to be an impressive roster, but how's Jalen Hurts' progression going to be? Then, like with the Cowboys, they really haven't added much, so are they going to be as good as they were last year? You got Dak Prescott. Is Dak Prescott going to be? It seems like they've been going right around that 9-8, 8-9 area. They're going to be able to get past that. Washington, I think, is going to be really improved with Wentz. I think Washington's defense get Chase Young back. With that defense they have, and if Wentz just don't make big mistakes, I think Washington's really going to be a tough team. Wentz didn't play terrible last year for the Colts. Yes, the season ended bad and they lost to the Jaguars. I understand all that. But he threw 27 touchdowns and like 6 interceptions. So he had a decent year last year. It wasn't like he was terrible. And so I think he's really going to help Washington. And then the Giants, I look for the Giants to be better. Especially if that offensive line is better. I think Daboll is going to help Daniel Jones a lot. I'm not saying he's going to turn Daniel Jones into Josh Allen, but I think he's going to help Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones, and Josh Allen, if you look at their playing styles, their playing styles are similar. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen has the higher ceiling and everything, but their playing styles is similar. Jones is athletic. He can run the ball, but he can also throw. But he has to cut down on the turnovers. But I think some of that is how bad the offensive line was too, because there were some times, dude, he didn't even have time to look for a receiver. He was getting killed. So, but I think Daboll's really going to help him. But honestly, in this division, I think it's going to be a surprise. And I think the Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East. I think Wentz is going to have a solid year. I like Ron Rivera there at the coach at Washington. I think he's getting that team turned around. And I think this might be a year that Washington gets a division title.
They must be putting some stuff in your water out there. That pH level might be off a little bit.
David says Eagles, Giants, Washington, Dallas.
Yeah, David's an idiot.
Giants finishing second?
My dad says he likes Washington. So maybe it is something in the water out here.
Hey, I think that pH level's off a little bit. Y'all must be drinking that Detroit water.
Dude, hey, Wentz didn't play bad last year, man. I know the Colts season. I'm a Colts fan. And them last 2 games, I was pissed. It killed me.
I think, when he's under right, okay. I don't know, man. I got to be honest. I'm on the border when it comes to Wentz. I'm always on the border with that guy. I just can't get confident behind him at all.
Man, the Colts performed the biggest choke job on the
Oh, yeah, no, they did. But I'm just saying it wasn't all Carson Wentz's fault either.
Man. On the day that Jacksonville fans dressed up as clowns, right?
No, I know. I'm just saying, though, it wasn't all Wentz's fault, though, either. Our offensive line didn't play well them last 2 games. Our defense didn't play well. Wentz didn't play well.
The running game would be stronger if they would have handed the ball to John.
Frank Reich didn't coach well. Got away from running the ball, which was what got us there all season. Got away from running the ball. It was a number of things that led to that collapse.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I did a video talking about that they should have done a better job running the football. Why did they go away from running the football?
Hell, Jonathan, the year before with Phillip Rivers, we should have beat Buffalo. We'd have beat Buffalo in the playoff game if he had just kicked the damn field goal.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, people forget that Rivers played good for the Colts. We should have advanced in the playoffs.
Right. Right.
Oh God, Dad, what are you doing? Damien says Wentz has 0 ankles. Damn it, he ain't winning the division.
No, the thing with Wentz is staying healthy. That's the thing with him. He got to stay healthy.
And then look what my dad said, Jay.
Oh, good God. Hey, listen, that's what they got down there in Mexico. They got that brown water. I ain't never seen no yellow water.
So all three, both you guys picked the Eagles. I have Washington. Who's your favorite team, Jonathan? Are you LA?
For which division?
I'm a Rams fan.
No,
yeah, I'm a Rams fan all day. I'm all LA, baby.
Well, let's do that division next.
Hey, him and Freddie ride together. You didn't know that?
Oh, Freddie jumped on the
Freddie jumped on the week of the Super Bowl.
I inspired him to switch teams.
You should let that man go to the Chargers. It would have been better. You know what? I would have respected Freddie more had he gone to the Chargers, because then he would have been building something. But just to go to the Super Bowl contenders 2 weeks prior to, it was just
2 weeks before the Super Bowl started, he decided that he would become a Rams fan. He turned in his New York Giants card. And gave
even had a Giants card.
And
he just switches them out.
And he gave us a flimsy excuse for why he did.
He was an Aaron Rodgers fan there for a long time.
Yes,
I think he still is an Aaron Rodgers fan. He just don't want to. I don't know, man. Freddie's in another.
I was calling him Green Bay Giants fan. That's what I was calling him.
Yeah.
Jonathan, who you think's gonna win that division?
You know, you know what? That division could be up for grabs too. Because look, you got the 49ers still. I don't know Deebo Samuel's status. Most likely he's gonna end up staying with the Niners. So he's gonna be the all-around guy once again. He's gonna be the quarterback. He's gonna be the wide receiver. He's gonna be the running back. He's gonna be the guy on special teams. He's gonna be everything for that team, the heart and soul. So you got the 49ers. You got the Cardinals. I don't know what their season is going to look like. And then, of course, you got the Seahawks, who have gone into a rebuild. Russell Wilson is no longer there. The defense doesn't look like the same defense. You lost Bobby Wagner, who is now around. So I think the door is open for the Rams to win the division again, and I think the Rams have a chance to run it back with the pieces that they have. You have Aaron Donald, who is great at coming off the edge, probably one of the best edge rushers in the game, if not the best defensive player in the game today. Then you got Bobby Wagner now on that defense. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so fun to watch the Rams. And this is not me being biased. This is me keeping it real. The Rams are that good. The Rams still have Jalen Ramsey in the secondary. I think they've gotten better in the secondary this past draft as well. And then you still got Matthew Stafford at quarterback, who just revitalized his career since becoming a Ram. It was impressive what we saw from him last year, and just being a part of the right offense, playing under the right head coach, playing with a very good offensive line in front of him. That's the thing. He had a wall in front of him for once. So I think, he's going to do his thing again next season. This Rams team is the team to beat in the NFC West.
All right. What do you think, Jay? You agree with Jonathan? Is the Rams the team to beat?
Well, yeah.
Or do you see another team taking down those Rams?
No, yeah, in that division, the Rams will be the team to beat. Again, they lost Bob Miller, but they picked up Bobby Wagner. Miller's a little bit better than Wagner, but still, Wagner's a good player, so he'll contribute where he needs to contribute. But yeah, you got the biggest thing. Seattle's going to be at the bottom, so really then it kind of comes down to who's going to be second and third place. I would imagine you got Cardinals and you got 49ers, but you really don't know what they're going to do with Jimmy G, or is Trey Lance going to be the leader of that quarterback of that team? So San Francisco does have a few questions to answer. But I'm going to put the Niners at 3, and I'm going to keep the Cardinals at 2, man. I think the Cardinals are still going to be there.
All right. For me in this division, I agree with you guys. I think the Rams are the team to beat. I think the Rams are going to win this division. The Cardinals, you just don't know. We just don't know enough about him. What's going on? What's going on with Kyler Murray? Is he going to try to hold out if they don't give him a contract? DeAndre Hopkins, he's out for 6 games, so you're going to be missing not only the best receiver on your team, but one of the best receivers in the league for 6 games. So that's going to affect. So you really don't know where the Cardinals are going to be. I look for the 49ers probably be the second best team in this division. I believe Jimmy G's probably going to be playing another year for the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are sold on Trey Lance. I think they're realizing that they moved up and overdrafted him. So I think they're going to try to give him another year before they're comfortable playing him. So I think Garoppolo is going to be in San Francisco for another year. I think Samuel's going to end up being there. So I think the 49ers are going to be pretty close to where they were at last year, and look how close they were with the Rams last year. So I think it's going to be Rams and 49ers battling out for the division, but I like the Rams. Like you said, they lost Miller, they brought in Wagner, still have Aaron Darnold, still have Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. So I'm going to go with the Rams, but I think the 49ers will be right there with them challenging for that division.
The problem with the 49ers is that they're so heavily Wildcat-based with Debo that people know to key now in on so much more on Debo. And I think, that was one of the reasons why they didn't make it farther is because, you can only ride that horse so many times before people get it figured out and then you're just done. And I think that's what's going to happen again this year. Matter of fact, even maybe more so this year because now people know even more about the Niners and and how to trigger in on Debo and things of that nature. And you got to make sure Debo stays healthy because that's a lot of workload to put on one player all the time. So, again, I think the Niners, they'll be in the mix, but I don't take them seriously. I don't. In terms of being a Super Bowl contender, I don't take them seriously.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they're a Super Bowl contender, but I do think they're going to have a chance to battle in that division. Because the Cardinals, I just don't know enough about because of Murray and Hopkins.
Yeah,
right. Missing Hopkins for 6 games is really going to hurt you.
Who's opposite now of Hopkins? I know you still got Adrian, but they brought in Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious to see how that works out because Hollywood Brown and Murray do have a pretty good playing relationship with each other, and they both want to play with each other, so that could be a big thing.
Yep. Damien says Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks. Let's do one more division before we get out of here. Let's do the NFC South. And
are we doing that because we're going to talk about the Colts now?
Or no, the Colts is AFC, NFC South.
We said NFC. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll finish up the NFC.
You want to do your division?
We'll do it. We'll do it when we do the AFC teams.
All right.
But we'll let you go, Jay, first. Who you like in the NFC South? I think this is going to be it'd be an interesting division.
Okay, let's be honest. Let's just go ahead and just realize that Carolina and ATL. I think they just. They say it's a quarterback comp. I'm gonna start to the bottom top. So they say there's a competition now between Darnold and Mayfield. I think Mayfield's going to win that one. I don't think it's close. So then you got to figure out, so you got Mayfield, you got Christian McCaffrey, who oftenly is hurt. What is he going to really be able to do for the team? I just think Carolina, they upgraded a little bit on the quarterback spot, but that team still is kind of sort of still that team. So I think Carolina, either they finish third or they finish fourth, but I don't think they get past New Orleans or Tampa. So you can mix it up, right? You got Atlanta. They lost Matt Ryan. They got Mariota? Is Mariota their quarterback now? I think it is.
I believe so.
So I really don't have any high expectations coming out of Atlanta whatsoever. So you can take Atlanta, Carolina. You can keep it the way it currently is right now if you Google the standings, or you can flip Carolina and Atlanta. I really don't give a damn. It's going to stay the same way like that anyway. So really, let's talk about the top 2 teams. There are actually two teams in that division that matter, which is New Orleans and Tampa. So you look at New Orleans, you're going to have a healthy Jameis Winston coming back, and you know before he got hurt, that New Orleans team was rocking. Like they were doing well. And then he goes down, and then they just went down. So now you got the new wide receiver they brought in from the draft. Is it Olive? Is that how you say his last name? Olive or Olive, whatever?
Yeah, Olave.
Thank you. So you got Olave. You're going to have Jarvis Landry. And hopefully you'll have a healthy Michael Thomas. Hopefully Michael Thomas makes his debut back. And if those are your three wideouts, and then you throw in a Kamara. Well, Kamara will probably most likely be suspended. So you may be kind of struggling at the running back spot a little bit. I think, is Ingram back with him? Who's their backup running back for New Orleans?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up.
I know Kamara's going to be out, I think, 4 to 6, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, at that spot, I definitely have New Orleans staying at the number 2, and I think Tampa stays number 1. Brady's going to keep that Tampa team rolling, and I do think that they're the team that beat in that division. The more question for Brady will be how far can he take Tampa? Obviously, they went up against the Rams, and ultimately the Rams made it to the Super Bowl. So the real question for Tom isn't so much winning the division as it is, can he win a Super Bowl? Because let's be honest, the only reason Tom came back out of retirement is because he was, I think one, he got bored, and number 2, he's like, damn, I don't feel good not walking out with a championship. So I think for those 2 reasons, I think Tampa comes out of this division, and I think New Orleans, will take the backup spot, probably get a wild card, and then we'll see, hopefully when Kamara gets back from suspension, what he can add to that team as well, as long as they stay healthy. And I think, with the healthy Kamara back in, this New Orleans team could be something to reckon with come wild card time. But for right now, in terms of how they finish the division, I think it stays status quo. I think it's Tampa, New Orleans, and I think Carolina and Arizona will either stay the same or swap spots.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Jonathan?
Man, the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Bucks have controlled the NFC South for the last 5 years now. I don't expect it to be any different. I think it will be the same going into the 2022 season. I think it's between those two teams. The Saints, they were doing well until Jameson Winston went down with his injury. They were in good position to win the division. They have a pretty good defense. Their defense has the potential to be good, very good next season, particularly when you look at that secondary that they have. And you can never bet against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We know that, right? Holy crap.
Right. And he was going to retire, so I thought that would be a lot different and leave the door open for that division. But then he announces that he's going to come back, so that changes everything. So you can't bet against Tampa Bay. You got to put them at the top slightly over the Saints. Now, I know the Saints are a very, very good team. The Saints also lost a very, very good coach. So, it's going to be a different year for the Saints. But the other teams you're not so much worried about. Look, the Atlanta Falcons have parted ways with Matt Ryan, so now it's a different era for them. They're rebuilding under Arthur Smith. And then you have the Carolina Panthers who got Baker Mayfield. The thing with Baker Mayfield is, can he stay healthy? And I think he needs a solid run game around him. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, then yes, I think Baker Mayfield will make a major impact. But if he doesn't have Christian McCaffrey behind him, it's not going to make much of a difference because you're going to be relying on Baker Mayfield more to make more throws, and he's bound to make a few mistakes, because that's what he does. He makes mistakes because he has inconsistency issues and he has mechanical issues at times throwing the football because of accuracy issues. So at the end of the day, it's going to be the Buccaneers, and that's your safe bet.
Hey, real quick, I want to put in there. So it is Mark Ingram that will be the running back until Kamara comes off of suspension. And I think Ingram will do well running for Winston until Kamara comes back, as well as they did get Tyrann Matthew, so they did upgrade the safety spot on defense. So I think the Saints team is, like I said earlier, they'll probably come in 2 most likely. But I think they're going to make an impact at that wild card spot.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on one thing. I agree with you guys that Tampa Bay is the favorite to win the division. I really do think Tampa's going to win this division. I really like the Saints as well, but the thing that worries me about the Saints is what Jonathan brought up. You lost Sean Payton as a coach, and not only as a head coach, but as a play caller. That's where I think they're really going to miss him as a play caller. So that kind of worries me. But you guys are going to be surprised. The team I think is going to finish number 2 in this division is the Carolina Panthers. I think, yes. Because,
I mean, they could.
No.
They could go. They could.
Now I know it's more than just the water. I think somebody slipped something into his drink. And
hold on. Wait, let me tell you why. Let me explain.
I want you to tell me either A, you're having a mini stroke, or B, somebody put something in your water.
Look, my dad says he likes the Saints. But here's why I say the Panthers are going to be right up there and finish second. The Panthers have a real good defense. People forget how good their defense is. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy and Baker plays better when he's the underdog, when he's that underdog, he has that chip on his shoulder. I think he's out to prove Cleveland wrong. He wants to prove everybody that he was worth that number 1 pick. I think Baker's going to ball this year. And with that defense, if Baker just don't make big mistakes, Carolina's going to win a lot of football games. I like their coach. It's just the Saints, I think, are a great team. I just worry about Dennis Allen as the head coach. We've seen him as a head coach before, and it wasn't the greatest. I know he's in a better situation now, but is the play calling going to be as good as it was when Peyton was there? And I doubt that, because Peyton's one of the best play callers in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I do think the Panthers could be a surprise team that could be up there maybe second in that division and get a wild card.
Well, I tell you what, when you said the Panthers, I just knew somebody slipped something in your drink.
I'm not saying they're going to win the division. Hey, I'm not going to bet against Brady.
Okay. Yeah.
I honestly, I think if Watson gets suspended, it's going to be for 4 games. I know there's people that still think it's going to be a year longer, Damian, but to be honest with you, I think he's going to get maybe 4 games. I think that's why. I think the Saints know that. I think that's why they already went ahead and traded Baker, because I think they already knew how many games he's going to miss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I know. I still hear people say a season. I know some people say he should be suspended for 2-3 years. I don't agree with that, but I think it's going to be the 4 to 6 game range, and I'm leaning toward 4.
Okay.
You guys have any thoughts on that?
Oh, no. I got lots of thoughts right now, but none that I can say on the air. No, hey, I'm telling you, if Panthers wind up in number 2, that's incredible. Honestly. I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I get some of your viewpoint. I think for me, what the Panthers is they don't really
put the tortilla down and walk away.
I don't know. There's some issues there.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've been a Baker Mayfield fan since he was in college. I like
Baker Mayfield when he planted that flag at Ohio in the I was like, oh snap. Okay.
I've always liked the underdog stories, and him being a two-time walk-on.
I'm an underdog guy. I like that too, because it just makes a feel-good story.
Like Stinson Bennett on Georgia. Georgia's quarterback. His story is a beautiful one.
Yep.
I remember
Stetson.
Yeah. I remember writing an article on him. You guys can check that out too. I wrote that article.
Okay, yeah.
He won the national title. Actually, I'll post it after this.
since we only have one division left, let's go ahead and finish the NFC, and then we'll do the AFC on Monday.
Sounds like a plan to me, brother.
Jonathan, you can go first with the NFC North. Who do we think is going to win this division here?
The NFC North? We just did that one, right? Oh, no, we did NFC South.
Yeah.
NFC North, ooh.
Bears, Packers, Vikings.
Man,
Why am I spacing the fourth team?
The Vikings, I think, are
Bears, Packers, Vikings, and
the Vikings.
There's one other team.
The Green Bay Packers, the Bears.
Lions.
Lions.
It definitely ain't gonna be the Lions. The Lions.
Come on now, you're not going. They're going to be eating some meat.
Wait. Jonathan said, "Hey, listen."
They're going to be biting some kneecaps, man. Come on.
Hey, look.
Hey, Jonathan said the Panthers could be 2, the Lions could be 1.
It definitely ain't gonna be the Lions. I can tell
Jonathan
you.
said, I ain't making that hot take.
I like Dan Campbell.
I do too. I think Dan Campbell's going to help the Lions turn it around. I really do.
I like his energy. I like the energy he brings. I like his, I just like him. He's an emotional guy. He wears it on his sleeve, and I think the players have bought into.
I was going to say, it seems like the players like him.
What he's trying to do. I think the players really gravitate to him well. They like him. So it could be a better season for them. But I don't like who they have at quarterback. And you guys know how I feel about Jared Goff.
I thought Jared Goff was your best friend, man.
He can't read the field. He cannot read the field. Sometimes this guy throws into tight windows and it turns into a complete disaster. So no, I can't trust Jared Goff to be my quarterback, my starting quarterback. I just can't. So I got the Lions, at the bottom of the division because of that. But
you feel about Jared Goff like how I feel about Tua.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think Tua can read the field.
Well, that's the same with Jared Goff.
That's what I'm saying.
Goff cannot read the field. He can't. No way. He can't. He just can't. I'm sorry. But
you have the Packers at the top of this division again? With no receiving core? Alan Lazard's going to be the number one, and Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins.
Yes, I have to put them at the top. Here's why.
Because they have Aaron Rodgers.
You got Aaron freaking Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers can turn middling receivers into decent receivers, and a good quarterback can do that. A good quarterback can do that.
Yeah, because name the big time receiver that he's ever had on his team. He's basically made all them receivers big name receivers.
And what I always say about Aaron Rodgers is that
look what he did for Greg Jennings.
He's arguably the most talented player in the NFL. Not the best. Don't get it confused. Not the best, but the most talented.
He's one of the most talented quarterbacks I've seen throw a football.
Right. So I got the Packers at top. I got the Vikings finishing second. I know you're big on Kirk Cousins, and his stats were better than what people expected last season. I mean, his stats, they didn't really pop out at you, because his stats can be deceiving because we know.
I think Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, if you put him in the top 10, you put him in the top 10. But to me, he's more of a game managing type quarterback. He does enough to get by. He's not a flashy name quarterback. He's not that quarterback where you're going to go wild for. Oh, my God, it's Tom Brady. Oh, my God, it's freaking Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's not that guy. But he does enough to help his team get wins. He's kind of like the other dude that just retired, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Kind of like that guy. Has some magic.
The disrespect.
No, that is some disrespect.
Kirk Cousins and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He has some magical moments, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's a lot better quarterback. He's a lot better quarterback than
Fitzpatrick. He has other moments where he just folds. So I got the Vikings finishing second. And
I can't believe he just compared them to.
I got the Bears finishing third.
Man, Jonathan, we're usually on the same page, but man, that's way off.
It's only because Kirk Cousins has those magical moments, and then he has those moments where the magic is not there anymore.
Yeah.
That's where I draw that comparison.
But okay, let me ask you this. Who's the better quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick or Kirk Cousins?
I'm taking Kirk Cousins any day.
Okay. That makes it better then, because I was going to say Kirk Cousins is a way better quarterback.
I'm definitely not taking Ryan Fitzpatrick. I didn't say he was better. I'm just saying that when you look at their games, sometimes Kirk Cousins had those games where you're like, well, okay, what the hell happened to him?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying now? And then you get those other games where he's just like going on the offensive tear. Like he's putting on a clinic out there. He's throwing bullets across the field. You get that Kirk Cousins too. In other words, he's kind of inconsistent at times, and you don't know which Kirk Cousins you're gonna get.
Okay, that's fair. So you have the Packers staying in charge.
I gotta place my bet on the Packers only because of who they have at quarterback.
All right, what do you think, Jay? And before Jay goes, Damien says that he 100% agrees with you, Jonathan. Kirk is a Fitzpatrick 2.0. The disrespect that Kirk Cousins gets is unreal.
Yeah, here's my thought.
You got one in this
I've been thinking
division,
about this for a hot minute now, and I kind of been thinking a little bit more about what Bernard Pollard said about Lamar Jackson and the points in which he made about Lamar, and now that kind of has me thinking a little bit more about Lamar, and it really has me reflecting on the top 10 that we did on Get Up on Unscripted the other night, and now I'm going to revise that. So if anybody's watching, I'm revising the Unscripted, my take on Unscripted. And initially I took Dak Prescott out and put him around 11 or 12, and I inserted Lamar Jackson in at 10. But now the more I think about that, I think about what Pollard said, and I reflect back on Lamar Jackson and how he plays, I'm actually going to take Lamar Jackson out. I'm going to put Lamar Jackson at 11, and I'm going to put Dak at 12, and I'm going to put Kirk Cousins in at 10 for the simple fact of this.
Thank you, Jay. Jay came on the good side.
Hey, no, but if anybody even come on the good side, it's just about reflecting on a few things. Now, I will say this, Lamar Jackson.
Hey, I just say that because I've been on that Kirk Cousins trade for the last week or so.
Hey, no, but honestly,
Jonathan knows because me and him been talking about
Lamar Jackson's legs away from him. He's just nothing. He's just whatever. Because, like Bernard Pollard said, no wide receiver, no clear number one wide receiver wants to play with him because they know that he can't make the throw. So it's almost like you're killing your career as a receiver if you go play with Lamar. And I don't want to do that. And I think that's why people aren't doing that. So again, Lamar, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but in my opinion, because he can't make those throws like the receivers have come out and said, I got to put him at 11, and I got to put Kurt in there because what Kurt has done with the receivers of Jefferson, Thielen, and so forth, he's done an impeccable job with those guys, and you can't deny that. And I don't know that Lamar Jackson, if you inserted him into that lineup in Minnesota, that he would be able to make Justin Jefferson look like Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen look like Adam Thielen. I think those guys, their careers take a step back because of his lack of throwing ability. So I'm going to take Lamar out of that top 10. I'm going to insert Kirk Cousins into that top 10 specifically because of that reason alone. And I will say this. If you look at what Minnesota has done, they've added a few key players to that defense. They brought in a defensive-minded coach. The offense is already clicking. Everybody knows that, as long as Dalvin Cook stays healthy, Thielen stays healthy, Justin Jefferson has another year like Justin Jefferson had, well, now this offense is truly clicking, and the problem with Green Bay is that they lost Devontae, which is a huge piece to that team. They came in with some second, third round wide receivers, slotting them into the mix, praying that one of them could be the next Devontae, whatever. But I think that the offense for him Because I do think that he is one of the most talented quarterbacks out there. Not the best, certainly not the best, but he is a talented quarterback. But I don't think his talent enough or alone is going to be enough to keep Green Bay where Green Bay was. We really saw that in the playoffs against the 49ers where he did not have a whole lot of offensive presence. So to say this, I think this is the year that Minnesota takes that next step forward. And I think that they just have the weapons on defense. I think they have the right coach at the helm. I think they have the right receivers, the right offensive line, the right running back. I mean, they have everything they need on offense and defense to overtake the Packers and take that spot away from them. And I do think it will be Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, and Detroit.
Okay. I'm gonna surprise you guys here a little bit because
listen. After you said the Panthers, there's nothing.
Hey, it's that water again. He's been drinking.
No, I agree. Hey, no, wait.
I don't know how you can top that.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Jay. I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings to win this division.
Yeah.
I like that they made a coaching change.
Minnesota, by the way, Minnesota. Don't take that as a compliment. I hate Minnesota, but I keep it like it is.
Well, I like the Vikings because they finally got a new coach. I think it was Zimmer's philosophy was kind of holding them back a little bit.
Yeah,
I like this coaching change. They have the weapons on the defensive side. They have the offensive weapons. Everybody knows I'm a Kirk Cousins fan. So I do. I like the Vikings to win this division. I think, don't get me wrong, I think the Packers are going to be right there fighting for that division. I think it's going to be real close between them two teams because the Packers still have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and he's been the back-to-back MVP, so it's hard to pick against the back-to-back MVP. I just don't think the Packers have done a good enough job of putting enough offensive weapons around them. You still have Aaron Jones there running back, but you lost the number one target in Devontae Adams, and so it's going to be interesting to see how them guys step up. So that's why I favor the Vikings. I just think the Vikings they just have more weapons. And I think this new coach is going to be a good thing for the Vikings. I think it was a good change for them that they really needed. So I like the Vikings for the division. But one interesting thing I'm interested in is how is Devontae Adams going to look without Aaron Rodgers?
I think Carr gets him the ball.
I mean, we've seen receivers leave Green Bay and not look near as good as they were.
Yeah, but Carr's not a bad quarterback, though.
No, yeah, I know he's not a bad quarterback. I'm just saying, look at Randall Cobb. He left Green Bay. He wasn't the same guy anywhere else without Rodgers.
Come on,
No. I'm just saying, no. Think about how good Randall Cobb was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Randall Cobb is not.
He hasn't done nothing anywhere else. But he done it with Aaron Rodgers. That's what I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers has helped make some receivers.
I'm just saying, maybe if Cobb would have gone to the Raiders, I think he has a better career than what he did with the Texans. He went to the freaking Texans.
Oh, well, okay, but
I'm not a big Randall Cobb fan either. But
my point
that's almost kind of hindering him.
My main point out of it anyway, Jay, was that Aaron Rodgers can help make some receivers, big name receivers.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that.
I'm not saying he done that with Devontae Adams. But it's going to be interesting to see how Devontae Adams does because he is with a good quarterback in Carr, and they played together in college. But it'd just be interesting to see, is he the same guy that he was in Green Bay with the Raiders?
Well, I definitely think that his production could slip a little bit, only because of Waller being one of the big targets. And then I think Hunter Renfrow, at the slot will take some. So, he's not going to have to be the Devontae Adams that he was in Green Bay because in Green Bay, he was the damn offense. Now he goes to an Oakland team where you got Waller, you got Renfrow. And so now it allows Carr to be able to spread the ball around. And I think he may take a little bit of a loss, but I think he's going to still have a great career.
They'll be able to spread the field more.
Absolutely.
Which will be incredible to watch because you got a lot of playmakers on that Raiders team. I think the Raiders are going to be better than a lot of people expect.
Actually, the Raiders, and I know we're going to talk about that on Monday, but I'll tell you what, man, I got some high hopes for these Raiders. I think Devontae really, gives that offense a little bit more punch.
Right.
I think the Raiders are going to be real good this year. And that AFC West, which we'll, like what you said, we'll talk about Monday. That's going to be a fun division to watch.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Damian says Kirk, Dak, and Carr are not top 10. I don't give a damn what anyone says. They're game managers. Who are you going to put? Who are you going to put in the top 10 over Kirk and Derek Carr?
Derek Carr's a game
manager. Wait a minute. Neither one of those three quarterbacks you just named are game managers.
I can't believe he said Derek Carr's a game manager. I don't agree with that.
I don't think either one of those three are game man. I don't think Kirk Cousins is a game manager. I'm damn sure don't think Dak is a game. Dak had over 5,000 damn percent throwing yards. So shut your mouth, Damian. Game managers.
Ending the show hot.
Damian knows how to get in my skin. Damian knows, man. I think Damian just does that to just throw up some crazy stuff. I don't think
I think he does sometimes. Well, let's get to our final thoughts on the day. Jay, what's your final thoughts here on this Friday?
Yeah, man. My final thoughts is, Tiger didn't have a good day today, man. He got cut from the Open, so. I don't know, guys, man. Is it the end for Tiger? I don't know, man. I think he's slipping a little bit now. Obviously, he's getting a little older. I would like to see Tiger at least get at least one more major under his belt before he calls it a day. But, I mean, hey, everybody comes down, man. Everybody's mortal, and I think Tiger is just mortal, and he's had a lot of injuries and things of that nature. But, again, it was sad to see Tiger not make the cut at the Open today, man.
Yes, it was. I think I still think he's going to win another major. I think he needs to take the rest of this year off. Don't play no more till next year to that first major.
Right.
Let that leg get even stronger. I think he tried to come back a little too soon. Don't get me wrong. I love that he's out there.
More than he should. But I think he's got to be selective on the tournaments. If he comes back next year, just be selective. If I'm Tiger, I'm probably only going to compete in the majors. I'm not going to worry about.
Yeah, well, that's what
I'm just doing the majors.
He basically said that from now on, his schedule was basically just going to be the majors. He's just going to play basically the majors. Maybe a lot of time in between to heal up. Maybe a tournament here or there, but he won't ever play a full schedule again. He's done came out and said that.
But let's be honest, for Tiger, it's not about the tournaments anymore.
No, it's about catching Jack.
Tiger only playing golf right now to compete with Jack Nicklaus and get that majors. I mean, that's all he's done. Everything. The only thing he hasn't done is get the majors lead. And I think that's really all he's playing for at this point.
He's the greatest golfer
in his career that he has left to achieve.
And even without that, he's the greatest golfer ever.
No, I'm not trying to take that away. No, that's not what I'm saying. Of course, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just saying that's how good he is.
Oh yeah.
Is even without that, he's still the greatest golfer ever.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know. Look, I don't want to go up against Tiger because I agree, but at the same time, Norman still has the most. So let's not disrespect Norman in that capacity.
No, Nicklaus.
Or Nicklaus, I'm sorry. I said Norman because him and Norman were having that issue with the LIV bullshit.
Yeah.
Nicklaus, I'm sorry, Jack Nicklaus. Let's not take away from
Nicklaus was great.
Nicklaus is not in golf either.
Nicklaus was great, but if you look at what Tiger done for the game of golf.
Now, I give you that for evolution. No, I get that. I just think sometimes we forget what people have done in golf.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Tiger, but let's also remember what Nicklaus has done.
Oh no disrespect to Nicklaus. Nicklaus was a dog, dude. Nicklaus was the man.
But I think what Tiger has done, I think not only for the game of golf, but for social issues and things around the game of golf. I mean, he's done a lot. Tiger's definitely done a lot to change a lot of things. So, hey, man. And I want to see him. I would love to see him break Jack Nicklaus's thing. If he can, if his body can allow him to do it. I mean, because I like to see history, mate. I love to see history, especially when
most sports fans do. I think most sports fans love to see history.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Damn, I want to see him alive. I don't want to.
Yeah, I've been watching the Open, and Tiger just struggled from the get-go. But I watched a lot of. I'm not gonna lie, I watched a lot of golf.
He was going up against some pretty hard wind out there as well, so it wasn't like the elements were in his favor. I think that had a lot to do with it.
But man, you have guys at 13 under. the leader's at 13 under right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane. It's insane. And I wonder how LIV is going to continue to affect golf as we go forward, too.
That's interesting.
It's going a lot because it's getting ready to go to court.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, guys.
It'll eventually be where eventually PGA is going to let these guys play in the PGA because it's going to cost PGA too much money not to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, too. I mean, I know we're kind of at the end of the thoughts, but it's interesting to see how, if you look at just Tiger's golf money, not endorsements and things like that, but just the golf money, I think he's around $124 million. And I think Johnson was getting $125 million playing in the LIV. And I'm thinking, like, damn, that just kind of tells you, like, what the hell?
They signed Johnson to a $125 million guaranteed contract, and that is more than what Tiger Woods made playing golf.
And I think that's the hard thing for the PGA to contend with when LIV is giving out all this money.
Plus, in their tournaments, you only play 3 rounds. First place in the tournament gets paid $4 million. In that first tournament they done, there was 48 golfers in it. First got $4 million. 10th place got $180,000, or not 10th, 48th place. Last place in the tournament got $180,000.
Hell, I'll play that son of a bitch. I play just coming dead last because if you're paying me that every time I play, I can make that's good money.
Dead last got $180,000.
You're making 6 figures, a payday.
Yeah.
Do that.
I'll go out there and embarrass myself on TV and shoot like a plus 15 or something for $180,000. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't lying though, right? It's good money.
All right. What's your final thoughts, Jonathan?
Man, today is Friday. I'm feeling good on this Friday. I'm going to watch some baseball later on. I'm going to check out the Angels and the Dodgers. The games at Angel Stadium today. The Dodgers are there for 2 games. They have a rare Sunday off because we all know what's happening on Monday. And that's the home run derby here in LA. And then we're going to have the All-Star game on Tuesday. I cannot wait. I am so pumped up for all the festivities.
Hey,
do we know what channel they playing the home run derby? Is it going to be like a local channel or is it going to be?
Yeah, it's on
ESPN.
Fox.
Is it?
Is it on Fox?
It might be. It's either Fox or ESPN.
I think ESPN has the home run derby and Fox has the actual
All-Star game. Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Well, now I know to tune in on which one.
Okay, real quick, would you guys be up to do a watch along for the home run derby Monday evening?
Yeah, I don't have anything planned. I don't think of that day. So yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
You can put me down for that.
Wait a minute. Let me look. Wait a minute. I gotta see what time. I can't do that. I got an interview Monday at 6:30 in the evening.
Oh yeah, you got a wrestling interview, huh?
Yeah, I got a wrestling interview. Marcus Fine's gonna be on with me on Monday.
Cool. So. Yeah, handle that. Handle your business.
Yeah, but I can't do it. But damn it, I've been fun to do.
Yeah.
almost double booked myself. Here I go.
Hey,
I had to look up at the calendar.
Sometimes it happens like that.
I got a calendar on the wall and I write everything on it. That way I try not to book myself. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the All-Star game. Also, real quick before we do get out of here, big congratulations to our brother Greg, that's usually on the show. His wife's in labor, about ready to have a kid. So that's all.
Oh, wow.
Thoughts and prayers with them for everybody to be healthy and everything.
Absolutely.
So we'll see Greg back here in a few days.
I remember that day. That was the best day of my life.
Oh yeah,
watching my baby born.
It's hard to believe that was 22 years ago already.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, it's hard to believe that it's about to be 2 years in January.
Oh no, they grow up quick.
Mm-hmm.
It was like yesterday. I was taking my son to Little League baseball games. Now he's getting ready to get married. it's crazy.
He goes by fast.
Oh yeah,
way fast, way too fast sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get out of here, I want to thank you, Jay, and Jonathan for coming on. I thought today was a great show.
It was.
So
indeed, it was.
I really enjoyed talking. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. So
I had
a good crew to have for the afternoon show, I think.
Hey, come Monday, we'll find out. When we talk about Monday, we'll find out what these Yankees did against Boston and whether or not we got to give Frankie some love.
Hopefully the Reds can stay hot against the Cardinals. We started series with them today, so hopefully we can stay hot. We've won 6 of our last 7.
We got some good baseball though, leading up to the a lot of good things leading up to the All-Star game. Literally, like there's a lot of ordering to be done within the rankings in the top 5. So it's going to be a good weekend.
And this last week, there's been a lot of real close games, a lot of extra inning games. There's been a lot of good baseball the last couple of weeks.
It's been exciting.
Yeah, John, we're on Unscripted Saturday, man. We're gonna have a good time, man, talking about baseball and football and everything in between.
What time?
8:00 Eastern.
I think that might work. I gotta check. To be sure, I'll let you know.
Too easy.
Yeah, Jay. I won't be on Saturday night because I have a wrestling show.
Yeah, I know, man. You're punking out. That's okay. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Hey, we're live streaming and doing commentary at an independent wrestling show.
No, I know. Listen, I already know Saturdays with you is like damn near impossible, man. It's like trying to schedule sex with my wife. It's hard, man. So it is.
Hey, this ain't no joke. We're somewhere every Saturday for the next 6 weeks.
That's right. You'll be on Tuesday, right?
Yep. I'll be on Tuesday.
All right. Works for me. Jonathan, hit me up in Messenger.
All right.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you guys for coming on. We'll see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern for another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.